Hi, I'm Tony DADA and welcome to my channel. This is the first live recording that I've done with my young protege, Natty, where we get to talk and share some tips and insights of things that might be of interest to you. So, welcome Natty, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm really good. So, we call this the BreakDown podcast. So, what are we going to be breaking down
Well,
for
your
them
most
today?
recent blog, which is 6 tips to define your GPS, growing personal success. So, do you want to break down what GPS means or what GPS is?
So the whole idea, I've been looking at this space and thinking about what success means to people for the best part of, 40 years ago when I first made myself intentionally homeless in pursuit of my vision of success. And so that question has been the number one question that's been on my mind for 40 years. And what I came to realize is that depending on where you are on your journey of life, everyone has a different definition. So I did some work in some schools with some secondary young kids, and the definition of success to a 12-year-old is just pulling up in a nice fancy car. Forget the fact that I may have hired the vehicle. As far as he's concerned, I'm successful. And I say that because some of the young people I was working with, you know, some guys were rolling up, drug dealers were rolling up, and that's what they were doing, just hiring a car, and they were looking successful to a 12-year-old. Now, to a 25-year-old, that trick ain't gonna work. His definition of success is different. So what I recognize is we're all on our journey, and everybody, whether you're 6 to 66, everybody has a vision of success. So the GPS stands for, it's an acronym, but it gets you thinking because obviously we all know about the sat nav. But GPS in my world stands for Grow Personal Success. We are all on our Grow Personal Success journey, and in and on that journey, it's about identifying and becoming clear as to what is your vision of success.
Okay. And that leads us into tip one. And tip one, you said, know what you want.
Yeah, so it sounds crazy, but on my journey now, I've been investing in people for the best part of 30 years, 30 years plus. And it's crazy. What I've come to realize is that actually most people don't know what they want. They'll say stuff, but when you drill down, and I've got this technique where I drill down as to, okay, you say you want that, why? And we drill down. Most of the time, people say stuff, but they don't really have clarity. And that's where the whole idea of the work that I do is really helping you to get crystallized on that vision.
Okay. So, in terms of knowing what you want, you need to think of the end in mind and then think of the steps that you need to take to get to where you want to be.
Yeah, so we go deep with our stuff, and most people don't understand how the universe works. The universe works with the vision, the end in mind, and working backwards. Yeah. So the clearer you are as to who you want to become, and when I say it's not just visual, but like you really have a deep rooted sense and feeling of, yeah, that's me, like you feel it. Yeah. Now you can work backwards to say, all right, well, that's where I want to be, but this is where I am today. And the distance between where you are today and that point, that's your GPS journey.
An example that just came to my mind that can express GPS in a metaphoric sense is, if you're an Olympian, to you want to be the best, you want to win.
Yeah.
So that is what you want, right? And that also leads into tip two, which is set your intention. So your intention is to win. So you've got what you want. You want to be an Olympian. What's your intention? To win as an Olympian. So what does an Olympian do in that process to get to where they want to go?
Absolutely. And if you go real deep, I mean, psychologists and researchers have found that, yes, you do everything that you need to do, but actually it's more than that. Because it's what are you entertaining in your mind? We have something like 60,000 thoughts a day. So imagine if you set your intention. Imagine, a 6-year-old wanting to be a great footballer. Like I've got a friend of mine, his son's playing for Arsenal. Yeah, the boy's only about, I think, maybe 12, 13. But his dad has been championing football and Arsenal from the kid was 6 months old. So for me, it don't make no, it ain't a strange thing. Big shout out to Bola. This is what he's all about. So what's the point I'm making? So from when that child could probably barely speak, his dad has been fueling the thoughts of football, Arsenal. Do you see my point?
Yeah.
So 60,000 thoughts every single day, now backed with an intention, a clear intention that I want to play for Arsenal. There you go. And then your dad is supporting you in every which way he can. There you go.
And then from there, we go on to tip 3, which is make a decision. So you have what you want, you set your intention, but it's up to you to make that decision.
Yeah.
To go along the journey.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, and that's really where I said in the blog that that's when it really starts to, it takes you to the next step. Now we're not playing. Yeah. Because to make a decision is more than setting an intention. And an intention, you can like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Yeah. But when you make a decision,
like a commitment to
yourself. It's on another level. In my case, I remember when I lost everything, for the second time, and this time it was because of a woman, and I also lost access to my children, and I got angry, like I got mad, and so I'm saying that because people don't understand how you can take your energy and fuel it, and so I say to people today, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. And they're like, are you crazy? I was like, yeah, because there was nothing that would have ever got me that mad that I'm like, you know what? I'm going to fuel all my intention. As of today, I make a decision that I'm going to fight for the rights of those who are voiceless. And that's why my not-for-profit organization that I set up was called Urban Voice, giving people a voice. And I've been on that journey ever since.
And then you have tip 4, it says, look for a mentor or coach. Why would you say you have to look for a mentor or a coach after you've done this process so far?
Well, you're just getting started. Yeah. All you've done is gain clarity about what you want, set an intention and a decision. But now you're just ready to start a journey. Yeah. And on that journey, my thing is, you don't have to have a coach. You don't have to have a mentor. But my business coach, who ran 47 companies, all of them successful, 4 of them turning over $1 billion annual sales. At the age of 70, he's saying to me, Tony, I have mentors around me who are 90 and 91. And he said something to me I'll never forget. He said, what people don't realize about having a mentor or a coach is a mentor or a coach literally adds years to your life. I'm like, what do you mean break that down? Well, he said, look, Tony, if you want to achieve a certain goal and you do it on your own and it takes you 5 years, you're going to be happy, you set the intention, you've gone on your GPS journey and you've achieved it. But the wise cat will get someone like a coach involved and they now achieve that same goal in 12 months. Now they got 4 years to do whatever they want to do.
So basically, a mentor or a coach will allow you to collapse time and give you some structure and allow you to get to your destination quicker.
Yeah, and also, if they coach as well as mentor you, then you're looking at them every day knowing that you're accessing wisdom because they've been there, they've made the mistakes. Why are you going to make the same mistake? There's someone sitting right next to you telling you, don't go left because there's some drug dealers down there. Like, oh no, I want to go left. I want to see for myself. Yeah. Like, okay.
Yeah, and that comes into your 5th point that says, be a student and be teachable.
Oh no, that's the one I love. Like I said, I've been investing in people consciously for 30 years. And I guess I smile a lot when I see it. But it also is humbling for me. And what is it that I see? Certainly here in the West, what I see is like when people have gone through adolescence, so like now they're post-19, or if they are really intelligent, they've gone to uni and they got a degree and they come out with their first or whatever. The ego and the arrogance is too much, man. It's like, now I come along and I might want to show you something and they just don't want to hear it. Whereas the reason for me why I say it's humbling is because, you know, I met my spiritual mentor when I was like 18. So I was still in that teachable, and I was on the street, like, and I knew that I needed to humble myself because I had no adult guidance. And why it's humbling is because when I realized that I was learning things that I'd never heard in school, college, or university, I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to be a student. And I've never left that state of consciousness. He's still my mentor till this day, as you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's pretty, that's what I mean. You know, adults, we need to be teachable. And certainly, I think the whole world can see now that the world has changed, right? And people are saying that, but do they understand what that really means? Because in effect, as you know, you've been with me for 9 years. I've been saying it for 9 years. We got to go back to school. Meaning we have to unlearn all of the stuff that we used to do because it does not serve you in this new era. But if you're not teachable, you're going to hold on to those values and those ways of doing things in the old era, not knowing that that is the fastest way to destruction.
Yeah. And your sixth and final point, rinse and repeat.
Yeah, of course. Because once you've seen that it's working, you're collapsing time, you're overcoming your challenges, you know, you're seeing your obstacles as just things for you to just overcome, like they're not barriers, and you see the progress that you're making. That's it. That's your blueprint. Yeah. Rinse and repeat.
Yeah. So the last point might sound simple, but that's, for me, I feel like that last point is the hardest point, because after you've done that the first time round, people have this tendency to get complacent, and I've been complacent a few times. So when a challenge, it's a different challenge at the higher level, but I wouldn't recognize it. Right.
I got you.
So when I'm rinsing and repeating, I'm not taking into account, hold on, I've been through this before. Why don't I just apply the principles that I did before, repetition?
Yeah, I hear you. And that's because people don't pay attention. They don't, like, you are supposed to be focused on, and it may sound crazy what I'm about to say, but you got to be selfish. You got to be paying attention to you primarily. Meaning how you're moving, how you're acting, how you're thinking, how you're speaking, all of that. You need to get focused on that, and you need to practice that. You need to rinse and repeat paying attention for a long period of time until it becomes second nature, and then you're good. And this is why we refer to people that I work with as students, in the sense that we're all students on our GPS journey. And so when you obviously being Nigerian and African origin, I know the power of words. So when we are saying on a regular basis, I'm a student of life, then you're reinforcing that in your subconscious mind, meaning you're paying attention, you're open, because that's what a student is, right? Yeah. To learn. And that will increase the probability that you don't make those stumbles that you made. And when you're thinking about a student, well, look, we've all gone to school, yeah, and everyone knows when you complete 1 year, what happens? You go to the next year. Yeah. You start all over again, just at a higher level. Yeah. When you finish primary school and you go to secondary school, what happens? You start all over again. When you finish secondary school, and those of you who want to go on to college, you start all over again. So once you can see the pattern, this is just the way of life. This is it's based on universal principles that rinse and repeat. So we all start again, and actually once you really embrace that, then you understand that this GPS journey is a lifelong journey of learning, and that just makes you humble. So 50, 60, 70, you know, I regularly sit down with my uncle who's 94. Yeah, and why do I do that? Because he's learning, and I get to hear of some of the things that he's learning and some of the stuff that he's experienced that I'm still going to grow into. Yeah. You know, when you see things like that, it gives you a broader perspective of life, and it enables you to just appreciate people where they're at. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you're 25 and you're telling me, oh, I'm gonna be 30 soon. I'm getting old, and I look at you and I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, I see. You know, so it's just about being able to be comfortable in the present. You know, I think in the West we got so many hang-ups of like, you got to be this, you got to do that, you got to achieve this. Chill, man. Like, okay, now you've got the blueprint, but never forget to enjoy the moment. Because when that's gone, it's gone forever. And this is why we do what we do, because everybody lives, but not everybody knows how to live this life. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, cool. All right. Well, I hope that that's given you some insights, some tips, something that you can take away, the blueprint, however it is for you, make it work. It's me, Tony DADA, with the young Natty, saying enough love.
All right, thanks, guys. The link to the blog will be down below in the description. If you like these, please let us know and we'll do some more.
All right, cool.